All right, everybody, how you doing? It's Rob Fortnington and hanging out today with Mr. Lowell Rempel. And today we're going to talk about how to find a product and what products look like. And we're going to use his amazing software called Asinspector. Lowell's been in the marketing world for quite a long time. And he used to own a big retail chain of stores. And he was a big SEO guy. So today we may even talk about how getting some traffic to our stuff today as well. How are you doing, Lowell?
Really good, Rob. How about you, man?
I'm glad to have you here because I think we're going to learn some good stuff today and learn how to find a product a lot better or maybe even more effectively and get some intelligence on our competitors so that we can take over their space on their Amazon.
Awesome, man.
So I guess we'll get started. Do you want to share your screen up front, or what's the best way in which you kind of talk to people? You want to tell some background on it? Hey, yeah, why don't you tell us some background on how you got to, Asinspector and why you developed it and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Just to start, we have used some other competitors' products and stuff like that. That was, Intel's an important thing when you're sourcing things or looking how to do things. And basically what we did is we found that our team, we were just looking for a little bit more things and a faster way of doing stuff and the ability to just gain a lot more intelligence quicker. So we could, source products and roll them out a lot quicker. So anyways, we, over the last year, we developed what we call a pretty cool product. It sort of developed into the name Asinspector there, but really what it was is we found with some other products out there, we were having a couple issues with just, variance in numbers and stuff based on our product. So we just wanted to make sure that we had the best intel that we could. So, to be honest, we weren't actually even going to roll it out to anyone. And a couple of people that I knew quite well in the Amazon business in a big way said, man, you have got to let my guys have this. I'm like, let's... All right, so we made a little deal. We put together something real quick, and it literally went viral. It was like we couldn't slow it down. So we decided to, give it a bit more of a push and try to deliver a lot of stuff that people were looking for. So basically, lots of different ways how we came up with stuff, but we feel that the options that we have best helps our team, and being that we're actually in the trenches. And we're actually doing these things. We thought that that would be the best way to help people that are new or quite advanced. And we have a complete mix of customers right now that are all over the place, and it's pretty exciting the feedback we've had. So,
well, how I got to you was I had some of the clients that I work at the Amazon Gorillaz, and they were like, we really like this product, and so I thought, well, let's figure out how we can get some more people involved in that and actually hear how you guys are finding products. Because, obviously that's the number one thing that people in their business need to have, which is if you don't have a product that, there's probably a viable product, there's a likelihood you're going to fail. So that's how we got to you. So that's a great way in which you guys found it. So what you're saying is you guys weren't actually, this wasn't just developed to sell. This was developed for you guys to use in your own business, which to me seems like a lot better case. That you're not just building something, to sell people on, you're building something that made your business better.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a software team, but for the most part, we're building to solve our own problems, because being that we're in a lot of different niches on, online, we want the fastest way and really the most intel to give us the stuff that we need to make the best decisions, right? So that's sort of how we tend to do. For the most part, we're not rolling most of our software out, but the way I'm looking at it is that if it can help a lot of people, and there's so much abundance online, especially in the physical product side of things right now. So that's sort of how we sort of came to the whole thing. So,
well, fantastic. So you want to get into showing us where you're at? Hey, why don't we go there? Because at some point I want to ask you, and you can figure out when that makes the most appropriate sense. I want to talk about what the difference in your product maybe is as opposed to other products out there in the market that may do similar things. Obviously, none of them all do the same thing. But, we can get into that maybe after you show us or before. I don't know which would be best for you.
Yeah, why don't we jump into the product just to show a couple of things, and we'll dive into that for sure. So let me share the screen here. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen here. Okay.
I can, sir.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's. So it doesn't matter. Now, what's cool about this tool is it doesn't matter what Amazon platform you're on, whether it's in Canada, the UK, .com, the US, whatever. It doesn't. Wherever you are, it's gonna pull the products from there and give it to you based on their dollar value. So I'll give a couple examples in a second here, but let's. Any favorite products, or you just want me to type anything in, or what?
Favorite products. Well, let's go into health. Or you can go in there. If you want to go into health and beauty, or I know a lot of people are there. Electric. I
whatever's on my mind. So
electric.
Man, doesn't matter. Here, let's do something else. Let's do.
Hey, by the way, one of the things we talk about our people, Lo, is that we call it the products to avoid. Certainly when they're getting started, which is not complex products, not electrical products, not glass, and not liquid. So those are some of the things we definitely want to stay away from at first, because I tell some horror stories about people getting product, and 100 out of the 500 they bought aren't working, or all of them. So
that could be a horror story for sure. Yeah, we have some of those as well. So good idea. Well, let's here. It doesn't really matter what it is. So once you search for something and it populates on the platform, you just click on this little Asinspector button here, and it just takes a couple seconds to populate. And
so Asinspector is based in your browser and not a separate software. Is that correct?
Exactly. It's a Chrome extension. Okay. And what's cool, first off, just to show you one thing, is that if you look in the bottom right here, you can see this little, it says updated or not updated. So what's really cool is that we're constantly changing and updating things that comes with with the product, and we're basically updating that for life sort of thing. So what's really cool about this, though, is that it automatically updates. You don't have to do anything, and it just one day you'll just have some new features or something's updated or whatever. So there's the odd person that in their Chrome browser they have some sort of spy software, some sort of a virus thing or whatever, so it doesn't allow it to update. So if not, we just put this little feature here so you can actually manually update it. So if it doesn't say updated, it'll just have a little link there. You can click it. It'll sort of force push it through so you can have the most updated version. So here, just to quickly give a quick overview here. So obviously it'll have the the brand, the product name, category. Now here's one thing that's sort of cool for one thing that we were looking for. So if you just hover over this, it'll show all the different categories you're in. So if you want to click on this little information button, you can copy or paste this or whatever. So when you're trying to get in, different parent-child, nodes and families and stuff like that, you can right away see what kind of areas you can play in, ranking, estimated amount of sales every month and revenue every month, reviews, ratings, all that kind of stuff. Now, where things start getting pretty cool here is that you can right away source a product. So say you wanted to, you were looking at a particular, apple peeler or something like that, and you wanted to be able to source it right away. You can go right into Alibaba or AliExpress, and you can just click on that. It'll automatically, just do a quick search right away just to see, an average cost of what it would be. Now, I know you can get it more affordably with negotiating or just Alibaba or AliExpress sort of thing. But what's cool about that is once you have those numbers, if you want, you can right away, you can do this thing called this, it's the net payout. So let's just say that you found it for $3 or something like that. You can right away in here just see if you have the ROI that you want to be able to play with, right? It also tells you the number of sellers that are also selling the very similar product sort of thing.
Hold on 1 second, because that's an important thing right there. I don't want to pass that up. So number of sellers of that particular product or in that category with that keyword?
It's a particular product. So
okay.
You want to know how many other competitors there are for the exact same product.
Okay, I was just making sure. Okay.
And then if some people were asking, we don't know exactly how we came up with that calculation. So we just have, if you click on this, it just sort of breaks down exactly how that calculation is. So, and there's lots of examples of how you can do this, but just one the other day that we were sourcing, it looked like we've got a really good cost, and we just thought, wow, man, this is, we're going to sort of do very well with it on Amazon. But once we put it into the net calculator, it was actually showing a negative ROI, and we're like, that doesn't even make sense, right? But what we found is that based on the size, it was over sort of that magic, size of 18 inches or whatever, where it would cost that much more in that category to ship that product. So it actually made it so, even though it looked really great on and right away, where our only cost was like $1 something, and it was selling for like $12, but when you put it in the calculator, we would have actually lost money on it. So and that just made us adjust some things. We found one that's a little bit smaller and similar cost, and all of a sudden we're making money. So just things that can help a lot of people, make executive decisions, right? So.
Well, I mean, I think probably of anything that you have on there, obviously, that's probably one of the most important things, because I see that happen all the time, because people aren't realizing when they're factoring that product that they're factoring in that shipping cost. I mean, if all of a sudden it's costing you 50, 60% of your cost just for shipping and Amazon to take their fees, you're right. I think people all the time are picking products that they couldn't make money on no matter what they did.
Exactly. And you just want to take as many of those roadblocks that you possibly can sort of out of there, just so you have the ability to make those good decisions, right? So there's some other things that we put on here as well, that if you wanted to see if the same product is on eBay or Walmart or Target, you can also just click this little button here, and it has like a price comparison. So if you wanted to see, eBay's selling it for around there, Amazon, and that particular product is not found on Walmart or Target. So again, just to quickly do some sourcing of pricing, just to see if it even makes sense. And then we also have, if there's trends, if you see that, wow, there's quite a few reviews or whatever, and you want to just quickly see what the trend is for that, it'll take you right to the camel, and you can take all sorts of data just based on right out of the tool again. So we just wanted to make it really, really easy that way, right? So some other things, just to give you a fast overview here, but on the bottom, you can easily export, through Excel, CSV. You can, if you have a lot of pages open, which our team, when they're sourcing some products, sometimes they have like 40 or 50 things open at a time, so they can quickly see which keyword they came in on to find that. They can also search within the tool here as well, and some other things too. When you have if you want to expand this, like say you want to, came up with 26 things, but you want to keep seeing, dive into that a little bit more, just hit that little plus button, and it'll just keep adding more pages sort of thing based on however many you want. So other cool things you can do too is if you're partly blind like me, you can increase the font size like really quickly. So you just click that to whatever the size that you enjoy sort of thing. If you have a lot of products on here and you don't want to get lost in one, you can just double click on one. It highlights it so you can remember where that was. Lots of different options, but this is where it gets pretty cool. So now everyone is looking at different things based on how they're searching on things or how they're sourcing. So what's cool is on the bottom right here, you have this little tool button. So when you click on this, it has all the different options of things that you can show. So there's tons of data here that you can yank right out of the tool, and even from things from even if you want to show package quantity or dimensions, anything you want, or maybe you don't think in pounds, you think in kilograms or whatever, you can, or you want a number of pages to load automatically. Whatever you do, it's going to automatically do that. So right now we can already see on here that the weight in kilograms comes out, or the package dimensions or quantity, that can all show. And what's really cool is that when you make any other searches with the Asinspector, it's going to remember how you like it, and it's going to save all the same functions, right? So and same thing when you're exporting it into a CSV or an Excel file, whatever, exact same thing. You're going to have the ability it's just going to, whatever you like it, the settings that you're looking for to help, your company make the best decisions. That's the things that, it's going to help you out most. So here, let me show you some other cool things. You still there?
I'm still here. I'm just being mesmerized by you, Lowell.
All right, man. So, here, let's just go to the UK. So we're just Amazon. .uk. Let's do the same thing.
And that is important. So it does work in the UK too, right?
It works in every country that has a platform for Amazon. And this is another big one for us because we do sell in other countries other than just .com in the US. So everything that we are searching for. So I'll just do an example right now. So let's just click on, again, Asinspector. It automatically, you don't have to do any settings, changing anything. It's going to bring it up in the British pound. So it's pretty cool how it does this.
And weight too, right? Because that was one of the things that I've seen in some other programs, that there's this odd thing about how they're weighing and how weight goes in.
Absolutely. So you can choose whichever weight that you want in the configurations that way. You'll also notice that there's other stores that are coming up. So in the UK, Argos and Asta and stuff like that. There are other stores that are big in that particular area, sort of thing. So you'll notice different kind of stores come up based on where you are. So for us, it just helped us make decisions that much quicker, and we got to see all sorts of different functionality that way, right? So that was a big thing for us. Just to show you some other things here too, that if you wanted to show, you were talking about just weight just a second ago there. So whatever those settings are, so I remember that I had pounds and kilograms on there, but maybe you wanted ounces as well. I mean, in the US, obviously there's imperial and standard sort of. The rest of the world sort of is on a different kind of a metric system. So Canada's sort of messed up because it has both, but for the most part, this was a big thing for our customers that was using this tool in other places other than just in the US sort of thing. So
I've been hearing that.
Lots of different options of what you can do. We look at a lot of different things when we're sort of diving into things and drilling down to make the best decisions. So that's sort of a quick overview, if that makes any sense here. I'll remove a couple things so people can see this. I'm not sure how it looks on your screen. It might be a little big or maybe not. I'm not sure, but let's get rid of a couple of these things here. All right. Cool. So that way, here we'll just put it on pounds only, and there you go.
Yeah, you know that I've been hearing since I was about 8 years old that we were going to eventually get to the metric system, and Americans are too stubborn to change.
Well, it's. I'm from Canada, so I sort of learned both, right? I mean, at first it was the other way, and then it sort of changed. But so I'm sort of like, I think in miles per gallon. I have no idea what liters per 100 kilometers or whatever. I can't think that way, but and then I'm totally like inside the house, I think in Fahrenheit, but outside I think it's Celsius, and yeah, it's just whack. But anyways, it is what it is. So, but yeah, hey, there's so many different things here, but even stuff where if you're looking for some intel on, a full title sort of thing. I know there's lots of different talk about this, but if you see how it automatically shortens it, if you hit that little information, it just shows you the full sort of product name, description, title description. So lots of different metrics that you can look at, but that's sort of a very general overview. So yeah, lots of intel that it gives you instantly, right?
All right. So the next magic question is help us. I mean, because more than anything, it's people finding products. So can you give us some of your insider secret tips on how you use Asinspector to find or source a product or find a product that has good attributes that make sense to you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think a lot of people starting out are sort of looking for that magic number of what it sells for and having the right ROI and stuff like that. And there's definitely a lot of space, and there will be for quite some time, I believe, in Amazon for that. But we're playing in a little bit of a higher number sort of thing, as far like we're sort of around the $50 plus range, but I don't want to confuse anybody on that. If we still do a lot of stuff that are, it's under $20 or whatever that is, but a couple things that we're looking for right out of.
Hey, Lowell, hold on 1 second, because I think that's an important point here. That $50 number, in my mind, and maybe you agree or disagree, but that $50 number for me, what it does is first of all, it eliminates a whole lot of people in the process, because lots of people. So to me, it's less competitive over 50, and it always includes free shipping. So those are the two advantages to me, because if you're looking at dollar products, there's a million people trying to find dollar products right now.
Absolutely. And, it's harder to brand something and build a business that's bigger, that maybe goes off of Amazon as well in the smaller items. So a lot of times we'll just use that to maybe to play, just to see if we want to play in that particular vertical or whatever. But it's that's one metric that we look at. A big thing for us is we do want to know so estimated revenue per month. And we know this can change. There's certain factors like Prime Day or, Black Friday or this next Q4 season sort of thing coming up. But one thing that we want to look at is that we're in a minimum of 15 grand a month or more. And we want to see a lot of other the similar products or the exact same products that are in this similar kind of monthly revenue. Otherwise, we don't even want to play. If it's too low, it's just it's not really worth it for us.
When you add up, what we talk about a lot is because obviously we're not just evaluating one product, we're evaluating the whole category, right? I mean, is that your guys' thought process? I mean, is there a number which you go, okay, listen, the sales on the first page are, a total of 100,000, and then the second page there's nothing. How do you factor that in, or are you just specifically going after a single product or a single placement?
Well, I guess it's a two-part question there, but the first one is if we're looking to go into a new category and we're not sure if we want to play in that particular category yet, we'll sort of play in a smaller amount just to see the viability and how customers react and buy and stuff in that particular category. But in that, once we know that there's enough sales volume in that, we're sort of trying to go we personally don't really even care on page 2 or 3 or whatever. We're trying to get right to page 1 right away. And this tool helps us a lot. Once we know, this is a bad example here. Let's just jump into something else. Let's use, I have no idea. I know, because I was looking for this the other day for look at the big RV Sierra. There we go. So just because we have an RV. So anyways, we somehow lost ours on the I-5 somewhere. So
someone got a gift.
Yeah, exactly. A gift. That's right. So anyways, just looking at this, if we were looking at, okay, so this is something that we want to play around with, right? So we can see right here that this approximately is, the revenue per month, right? So, but the big key here is this estimated number of sales per month, okay? So we know that if we want to beat this particular person, right, and they have lots of different ones on the same page sort of thing of this, this particular brand, okay? So we would look at this number here, estimated amount of sales per month. We divide that by 30, okay? And then we know approximately how many we would need to sell a day to have the whole sales velocity thing where we can rank the same position or higher than them very quickly. So we need to know those numbers and metrics if we want to play. And as we all know, that once you have that and the conversion factor is high, and and all the other metrics, you can rank very quickly and stay there and get a lot of organic traffic and stuff on Amazon. That vehicle is awesome for doing that. So anyways, that's if you guys are sort of reading between the lines of what I'm saying here, that's a very fast way to rank and test and play, right? So,
well, hey, repeat that one more time, because I think that's a very, very important point.
Awesome. Yeah, of course, man. So, so basically, we take this number, whatever that is, and once we're comfortable and we know that there's enough revenue and the margins make sense and stuff for us, we know that we can source it for a good enough price. Then we go to the estimated sales per month, okay? And then we take this number and we divide it by 30. So just average of 30 days per month. Once we know that, we know that to beat this customer or to be in the same place, we need a minimum of that many sales per day. Okay, so all the different things you can do, like highly discounted, or if you have customer lists and stuff and pixels and that of from landing page pre-landers and stuff that you've done in this category of, say, the RV world sort of thing, we know that we can absolutely play very quickly and rank very quickly and now be above these guys. So that's a metric that we absolutely look at. And maybe this isn't the best example. Whatever was in my head here. I'm sorry that we're looking at RV serials, but hey, it is what it is. It's another product, right? So
hey, I always tell people, quit trying to buy sexy products, and this is definitely
we don't actually look at just the top products. I mean, we do play in some of those spaces because we're getting pretty good at playing in those, but we're not just looking at those, and it's what I try to get people to get out of the habit of doing is that, everyone gets down, they sort of like look for the 10 biggest things that they always search for. It's like dog collars or spatula or whatever they are. Like, they have to sort of get out of that thinking and just like think of something complete. Go down an aisle in Walmart or Target or something like that you wouldn't typically go down, and just start looking at things that you wouldn't have particular assume would even be a product that sells. I mean, when you look at something, like Costco or Walmart or whatever, they're not just like accidentally picking that product. They know that there's a certain amount of volume that it's taken, some sort of space in their store, right? So, and take those things, go home, put them on here, see if they're viable for you, and start playing in that space. Like, we're in some really weird verticals that I wouldn't have typically thought things, and man, we're destroying it in some areas that's pretty low competition sort of thing, right? And then we're also adding a lot more mix to our whole portfolio in that particular vertical because we found some sort of gem, right? And it's like endless. There's just so many things that you can do on here, and it's so anyways, that's a major key factor for us as well. So another just a quick tip of something that if you want to play, and there's a lot of people that are like, well, the only thing is, it's hard to make a decision because do I want to buy it? For this to make sense, I have to buy like 3,000 of them from Alibaba, and it takes like 2 months for them to come in. And you got, if everything goes right, and that's a lot of money out there. And I'm like, man, we test stuff before it's even in Amazon. Like we'll list something, we'll make a deal with someone at like AliExpress, whatever, and we'll just direct ship. At least we can test and know if we even want to play in that space, right? So. We do a lot of that way ahead of the time. So we can test and make a decision on something way before. And if it fails or we don't like the numbers well enough, we'll sort of kill it. It's more of a dead product, or we'll ramp it up right away and know that, wow, this is a great place to be, and let's scale it up quickly. So
slow down a second. Hey, slow down a second on that on your product test, because I mean, that's one of the things that we talk about a lot is to get that test out there. So just slow that down and walk through how you might do a test on a product, and you talked about maybe, drop shipping them that way and kind of get some product. But so in a category like this that has, let's say has a lot of traffic or a lot of sales in it, how do you do a test to get enough reaction? Because, obviously you're not going to rank high enough. Are you doing that through a pay-per-click and seeing what your conversions are that way based upon price? What are you doing?
We do a lot of stuff off of Amazon as well. I mean, Amazon's awesome. It's a massive e-com platform, but it is just a vehicle. There's a lot of other traffic and business out there other than just Amazon. So we sort of use that in conjunction with our whole portfolio of e-com. Okay, so what we do is that, like coming from the paid traffic side, and then we do all the funnels and stuff like that, we'll actually target, a particular niche. Say, let's just use this example of the RV, okay? So this is really easy to target, this on like Facebook or something like that. So we'll have a really good deal or a good perceived value in that deal and offer, free shipping or whatever that is that gets them instantly interested. Okay, so they're coming to our pre-landed first. So we still own the customer right now, right? Now, to give some authority that we're not just anybody, we'll still have our link to Amazon, okay, right on there. we've sort of built it where you click on it and it's taking you through like, the super URL sort of thing. So we're still getting like keyword recognition and stuff like that on Amazon, right? But and believe it or not, even if it's a better deal of what we're offering or some sort of heavily discounted promo or something like that, the cool thing is here is that people will still buy right from your link to Amazon. It's pretty wild what you can do. So you can get authority fairly quickly that way. But the other thing is that you can do lots of different variations. We've tested lots of things where you can give them a certain kind of a discount code or like a one-time use offer or something through your lander. But before you give that to them, you've collected their pixel, like a cookie drop, so we know that they've been there based on where they are. We've also collected their email. So this is very powerful when we start playing around in, say, the RV niche, right? So anytime that we want to roll something, I'll say it's, I don't know, LED. I just know this because I have an RV, but like everyone's into like LED lights inside your, like a T19 or T15 bulb or whatever inside your RV, right? So maybe you want to roll some of those out and you want to test those. Well, now you've collected all this pixel audience, you have all these emails, and it's a great way to sort of reward those people and give them a certain kind of deal where you're still making money, but you can send like through your ladder, you can get sales velocity very quickly. And again, remember, all we need to do is get exactly whatever that number is divided by 30. We need to just have that many sales or more. Once we have that, we get that ranking. And while you're building up to it, you're already starting to get some sales just on the authority of you growing that fairly quickly. So it's not like you even, as long as you give around that amount of numbers, you're going to rank very quickly in that category. So hopefully that's making sense. I'm not going over anybody's head, but yeah. So we test fast. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? I mean, we can. People are always like, man, how do you guys get so many products so quickly? And that's how we do it. We're using tools like the Asinspector all the time because I want to see if we can play in this category. We also use this tool. I mean, obviously it's awesome for Amazon, but Amazon is still a great vehicle to show us if there's even enough volume in that to play with. So we just found some products the other day that we're not currently doing on Amazon, but we are selling, and we wanted to see if Amazon had enough volume to know that there's enough buyers in that particular niche, right? So it's so easy how you can source a lot of products. Amazon is just such an awesome vehicle to tell us all sorts of data and intel, right? So, anyways, I hope I'm not going over everybody's head here, but
I think maybe some of that problem is because a lot of the people that are that work with the Gorillaz are very new, and so this may be, I mean, a large majority of them, this is their first or second product. They may have got a product and they weren't very successful with it, and so now they're trying to come from a little bit different of a direction. So is there any suggestions you could give to kind of get, because right now I would imagine for lots of these people having to step into outside sources and bring traffic in, or are there some very simple ways in which they could learn how to do that? Or is there a way in which you could help them a little bit with how they would do that on Amazon to do a test? Just so let's assume they, and they're buying a product because they don't have a lot of budget, because a lot of our people have less than $5,000 to get something.
Right.
So if they were doing that, so let's assume they get a product from AliExpress and, they get 100 of them and they're going to sample that 100 products. What are some of the things that you could give them tip-wise to test that product out on Amazon so they don't have to learn another set of, because there lots of people are overwhelmed by just getting their stuff on Amazon. What could you give us some suggestions on Amazon?
So here's a good tip right now, is that before you see, time is money to us too, right? So if you're sourcing a new product and you know that you want to play in whatever category. So this is a bit. Let's just keep going let's go into back in the garlic press. I think I saw something. All right, so
you've been hanging out with Scott too long.
Yeah. I mean, there's I see the weirdest things that our team comes up with all the time, and honestly, it's there's some pretty cool stuff that's selling that you don't think about, right? But all right, so let's just let's pretend that we're playing it in this. I'll just use this as an example just to see if we can. All right, so if we were doing the garlic press thing, okay, and you wanted to play just to see if you even wanted to play in this space. So okay, so if we take 1,054, approximately we have to, if we want it to be number one, we have to sell 35 or more a day for a certain amount of time, approximately 10 days, right? But even if you want to start selling this and you think, wow, that's a lot of product. I got to source that. I got to ship it and to buy enough to make sense. This is where a lot of people get scared and sort of, they're scared to press that number and wire that cash or whatever is exactly for this reason, is that they don't really know deep down if they can actually, if it really is going to sell for them. And for them to make sense, they have to order. They don't just order like 100. And, I mean, they could, but really where the financial sense makes sense, you have to order quite a few more, typically, to get them all shipped. And then, they get stuck there. There's a little strike like, last year or whatever. And then you might not even be able to get it in Amazon. Like, there's a lot of wait time. So that's a lot of fear for people that I've talked to. And they're like, man, it's 2.5 months, still haven't sold anything, have all that cash out. So I'm like, man, why don't you do it way quicker? Like, obviously it's awesome if Amazon can handle all the fulfillment and stuff like that. And, as far as reviews, that you're getting 100% on the fulfillment side and stuff. But if you took that all aside just to test, why don't you make a deal? You find someone that has a high rating on like AliExpress, okay? Yes, you might pay a little bit more, but make a deal with one of these people and say, listen, I need you to ship these fast, right? Not the typical, 30 to 90 days. And I need you to ship it fast. And I'm going to do a test. I'm going to buy approximately this many a day or whatever that is, and get them to actually fulfill them for you direct. They will do this. I know they will, because we do this all day long, okay? Get them to fill them for you direct, and you can actually, that way you're only actually you're actually selling things before you've even fulfilled them, and you can actually put the orders to yourself. It's not that hard to do, or get a VA to help you or whatever, and actually fulfill them and get them direct. We're getting things as quick as like 5 to 7 business days from China right to the US, which is awesome. I mean, is it as quick as Amazon? No, but it's pretty good, right? So it's at least it's good enough to test. You know what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense, but that's something I would absolutely play in first. And then you're not freaked out. You don't have to do this, on one product. You could literally start testing 10 products right now. You might find that 3 of them are duds. I mean, who knows? At least you can stop it and focus on the 7 that are doing awesome and make, really good exec decisions, because you're already making sales. You're already making money on those things. You already made your money back. You're willing to invest a bit more and get, Amazon to fulfill them and take it to that whole process, right? So.
So then also, so I had a question. Somebody, and it talks about. So let's look at just as an example. There's some people on there that they're not in that high sales volume, but obviously they're ranked on the first page. So if you go down, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, like number 5, what is it? Yeah, right in there, 131 reviews.
Yeah.
But their sales are 416, or any of those guys with lower amounts of sales volume. So you talked about being able to get in there. So those guys are selling about 10 a day, and it looks like there's a bunch of them that if you're selling about 10 a day, that pretty much means you could end up on the front page, correct?
Absolutely. And sometimes it's as easy as, again, and looking at that, you're like, well, I don't know if I want to do this for $3,000 a month. Like that something that we clearly wouldn't. But if you know that some of these guys are doing, higher numbers in that, you can have some discounted prices or some better things that get you there quicker. Okay. And look at these guys. I mean, they're on the first page. So how did they get there, right? They don't have a ton of reviews. They're not doing a ton of sales. But we're looking at so many different algorithms. It's not just a simple calculation. So we're looking at, how long they've been there, how fast they got ranked. We're looking at, we're looking at time of season. Like, is it a seasonal product? Is it Christmas? Is it, we're looking at so many factors. What was the keyword that they came in on? And plus we're matching, how we came up with our numbers is we have like thousands of products that we have access to, of real products that in lots of different categories that we're constantly matching our algorithm with ourselves to see if we're out of whack, because, APIs and things are changing constantly, like sometimes daily from places like Amazon. So things can change. We're always evolving and we have to update that, just like, you're getting your updates from your Android or your iPhone or whatever. Like there's just constant updates that have to happen just as things change. You know, Google changes whatever. So, anyways, those kind of these kind of velocity things are pretty cool. I mean, obviously, we could talk all day about how some of this happens, but it's not as hard as you think to get to some of those. You know, and once you know that you can sell and you're comfortable, and man, we're selling like 10 or 15 a day or whatever, you can now ramp it up and maybe invest a little bit more and have like a pre-lander or some targeting or whatever and some paid traffic and push that right to the top, right? It's not that hard to do. And once you have it there, now these guys are scrambling to get back up, and you can crank your price up. Lots of different things you can do, right? So, and again, we use that tool all the time. We're looking at history, right? So we can see that, you know, a lot of times people are having a much better price out of the gates, but then they in the last 3 months, they've increased their price, or last month or whatever. And we can see that and know how they got there. It's just intel to find out how these people got to where they are. I mean, everyone sort of started at the same place, right? And other things we can look at too, like if we look at this one here and we see like, okay, they're in a couple of different nodes and stuff like that. But then you look at some of these other ones, I mean, they're in way more nodes, right? So it helps you to think outside of the box when you're writing your whole description and title and stuff like that. You know, how do they get in all these different categories, right?
Well, I mean, that's a heck of a lead for keywords as well, obviously. I mean,
totally, yeah.
You know, that is like, I mean, right there is like a whole keyword tool kind of built in that I don't, you know, that maybe is not put out there as much. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. That's awesome. That's a great addition.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's some of the stuff that we're looking for that helps people out from, you know, it's just starting. That you're right, that, you know, they're doing this on the side to get rolling or whatever. And yeah, you can do well. There's a lot of things to play in that. And I mean, this is just one example that might happen to have a lot of estimated sales per month, but there's a lot of gold that we find that doesn't have that many. Like sometimes it's on the lower side, and we were just talking about that earlier, that it could be a higher priced product that maybe they're only selling, I don't know, 60 or 100, 120 a month sort of thing. It's nothing to beat those guys, and you're making really good ROI, right? And you're dealing with the whole thing, and you're not even owning the product. You don't have to buy 3,000 of these. You can get them direct ship, right? So, anyways,
that's a great tip there. That whole part. One of the things that the people we work with is we really try to approach it from, hey, how do I start to begin to pay my bills with my business? So a lot of our people, I mean, if you look on this page here, I mean, if they could make $3,000, and obviously everybody wants to make more, but if you can land on that front page.
You cut out for a sec. You're back.
All right. So, you know, if we lost, you know, if they were able to get $3,000, and you think if you can get at least a 30% margin, they're making $1,000 a month, and that pays their bills, that pays electricity, water, and gas bill. So, you know, in addition, I think using those kind of strategies, those people can jump in there a lot quicker and see that, you know what, if I'm able to get this sales volume, you know, and I can get $2,500 in, you know, sales a month, and all of a sudden I'm paying my, you know, my rent payment at my apartment or whatever it might be. So that's a great thing, you know, for us, that, you know, even we don't have to have $50,000 a month, although that would be great. But clearly, if you land on the front page and you're able to keep that volume in there, you're going to move up because your authority is going to get bigger and your reviews are going to get better and those kind of things.
Totally. And you made a good point there, that a lot of people that get caught up in that, you know, we've even had people have come out and they're like, you know, they got some sort of gold and they started, you know, doing 100,000 or whatever on one product, but they don't even know how to repeat that, right? So they don't even know where to go. Like if someone, you know, jacks a product or like they're sort of at a loss, right? So when you have those products that maybe are only making you 1,000 or 1,500 or let's say 2,000 a month, yeah, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but man, you can repeat that and you get 10 of those. Now you're making 15 grand or 20 grand a month, right? Like it's not that hard. And with using stuff, you know, tools like this to get all that data, it just helps you get there that much quicker, right? So this is that's why we built this. I'm always looking at time. I mean, it's not cheap having staff, as you know, and when you have a lot of staff, I'm looking at the most effective way that we can get get there that much quicker, right? And that's partly why we built this. It just gives us more and more intel. And the people that already have it, I'm sure some people are on this call that already do have this tool. You can see that we've already updated a lot of things. So as people are asking, they're like, man, I wish we had this. There's enough people that are asking that in our Facebook group and stuff like that. We just make those adjustments, right? We make that happen if it makes sense for everyone. So anyways, those are some of the things that don't overthink this, you guys. I mean, really, there's so much abundance out there, especially on platforms like Amazon. My goodness, it's awesome, right? And
so this is a little bit off topic, but because one of the things that we've had people deal with a lot lately is if they get into a little bit of competitive a market, people tend to like be a little bit attacking, or maybe some people with less morals in their business practices are creating bad reviews on them. Is there any strategies you use to defend that part of this business?
Yeah, we as part of our team, when we're getting something, I mean, if it has bad reviews and maybe we have a junky product or something has to change, we can adjust very quickly with that. But we try to reach out to whoever that person is and offer them a refund, or we offer them like we have a better product. We'll give them one for free. Like, it doesn't matter. We're trying to make the best kind of reviews that we can, right? But if there's something that's just clearly like a spam kind of review that's not necessarily authentic, you know what? It's not that hard. Just reach out to Amazon. Like, they'll just say, man, this is what we're having. Something, it's whacked. We reach out to the customer. They're not responding. We're trying to do whatever we can. Amazon, believe it or not, they'll actually work with you. They want to have more sellers like you. So it's because you're taking good care of people, and that's their people, right? So anyways, they'll help you remove a lot of those if that's the case. And sometimes it's good just to have some honest stuff if it's out there. Like, some negative reviews that are on there, they don't really necessarily hurt you that much. If it's sort of I mean, we've all seen them. It's just a stupid review. It's like, didn't get here fast enough, or like, okay, well, thanks, but really, who cares on that when there's, 90% of the other ones are like, man, I love this product, all the other things. So people are going to see through that. We don't want to, even us as being consumers, when we look at things, if it's all good, it's sort of weird too, right? And Amazon is working harder and harder to make those reviews more authentic and ensure that they are real. So hopefully that helps. But that's what we do. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming, because I think people deal with those things a lot. And
yeah, of course.
One of the things that you said that I think is very, very important is, listen, communicate with Amazon. Don't be afraid of them. They're not the mean principal in the back. Remember, their first number one goal is to protect their customer. And so they're going to do that first. But listen, they also want to protect their sellers as well from other things. So communicate with them, get on the phone with them, call them. I always tell people, get on the phone and call these people. And if you're not getting the answer you want, just go call back again 4 hours later or 8 hours later, and call in the middle of the night, in the morning, and try to find a shift that may listen to you more. I've called Amazon 20 times in a week to try to get a different answer. And you know what? 9 out of 10 times I can find someone that, is having a good day. Their wife gave them a present that morning, and guess what? They're ready to, to help.
Sometimes we call back 15 minutes later, and it's a completely different person, and they solve our issues. So yeah, you're dead on, man. Dead on.
Well, hey, we talk. I guess we talked a little bit about getting traffic to your stuff and how you might do that. Tell us, because obviously I got somebody asking me, listen, and obviously we know we're not going to say anything bad about anybody else's product, because that's not our purpose, because every product has its own source and its own place. And I use in my business, I use multiple products, because I want as much data as I possibly can. So if I have another product that can give me data that maybe Asin doesn't do, or different intelligence, I want to gather as much intelligence on a product. So tell me what you think some of the differences are in Asinspector as opposed to some of the other pieces of software out there.
All right, no, good question. So, I guess there's lots of different things, and some of the competitive products have actually upped their game a bit since we've come out. As you know, that they've come out with like pro versions or whatever. But we wanted something that was a pretty low barrier to entry. That it's something that would give enough data that you could make some awesome decisions from. So, a lot of the big things for us that we really needed the difference is that we do sell in multiple countries, and a lot of customers that we now have are also selling in other countries. So we wanted this to work on every Amazon platform. We also wanted to source products very quickly through looking at some of the suppliers that we normally have, and there's more stuff coming. So we just didn't want to go to another window. And, we also, speaking of other windows, we wanted to have a full tab that opened up because we have lots of different intel that we're looking at. And we wanted to be able to have that right out of the gates. We also have, there's a couple that are sort of catching on, but the net calculator, that was important for us. We just wanted to be able to make a decision very quickly. So if we found something on, AliExpress or whatever, and we wanted to see, whatever that cost was, we could right away put it in there, just if it made sense for us to even go any further. Because again, it's all about time, and there's nothing like spending too much time on a product that it just doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't make any sense to do that, right? So, and then, even in our own team, it's funny, but everyone sort of has the Asinspector set up a little bit differently, right? So I have mine set up quite a bit differently than some of our other guys do. So, and that's because we're all looking at different things and some of the intel. So we really wanted the ability that we could sort of customize that based on who's using it and what they're looking for. And things change too. Like as you evolve on Amazon and you start getting into some other certain kind of categories, or you wanted to see certain kinds of data. That's what's cool, is that you could adjust things and see that right away if it was certain things that you wanted to look for, right? So that was important to us as well. It's just something that's adjustable, and as we also wanted to build something that for us that's constantly evolving. I mean, we sort of did a soft release of this, and it did very well. It's doing very well, but you know what? We've already done several updates to it, so it just shows you that we wanted to really be up on top of things and just ensure that as categories and as all sorts of data is changing in Amazon, we wanted to be up to date on that because we're using this all the time too. So it has to make sense for us, right? So and there's lots more cool stuff coming as well, just from a lot of feedback from clients and that. We have some very, very cool things coming down the pipe. So so that was a lot of stuff for us. And even from the I don't want to call it the accountability group, but the Facebook side of things, there's a lot of like really smart people in there. I mean, we have some very, very high level sellers in there. And they're giving a lot of awesome feedback. I've personally done quite a bit of free training for our group, and just a lot of stuff that I sort of assumed other people knew, I found out that they didn't. So
hey, that's a question. Do you have any extra video training on how to use it or anything, or is any of that kind of stuff out there?
There's a lot of stuff that's actually in the Facebook group right now that we've gave away, that just and people weren't expecting that. It wasn't part of it.
What is the Facebook group?
What is the Facebook group?
Yeah, I mean, is it Facebook, and then is it just
it's Amazon Laboratory? So you can actually, right within the tool, you can just click on here and it automatically. If you've purchased a tool or whatever, it'll automatically pull you into that group sort of thing, right? So our admin team, our customer service support team, they just quickly look at that, and if you're on there, you're in. So there's lots of stuff you can search in there as well, which is pretty cool. So anyways, those are some of the differences, but and there's lots more coming as well.
Hey, I know we talked about it, and we can just briefly talk about this, but because that's an important thing. Are you coming out with are you going to add some more features to this ever and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're gonna constantly update things in here, and that's what's cool. Sort of like a one-time kind of pricing. And you know, our okay, so I can tell you this. I shouldn't let the cat out of the bag, but
all right, well, let the cat out. Come on,
let the cat out. All right, here we go. So now the people that have already purchased this or are about to make a purchase, here's what's really cool. We are coming out with a pro. Not coming out. We have a pro version right now. We're just beta testing it. We have for the last 60 some days. I just want to make sure it's like perfect for you guys. But it is, if you think there's a lot of stuff in here, it's like completely takes it to another level. So I know there's still a lot of stuff in here. Even if you don't decide to go ahead with that, this makes tons of intel and tons of stuff for you. But what's cool is that the people that already have it, we're doing something really special for them that sort of takes them up to that pro if they decide to go that route. But even if not, you're going to constantly get updates on this. There's tons of free training and stuff like that. So there is. And there's constantly going to be updates as things change in of more data that customers are looking for or whatever. We're gonna continue to update that with this. So there's the cat's out of the bag, man. It's pretty exciting. There's a lot of people that have beta tested this for us and involved, and just the way that it ties to I can't say too much stuff, but it's awesome, man. It's I think this is awesome. It gets way better. So,
all right. So, you got anything else you can tell? I mean, you've given us like a truckload of information here today, and I can't imagine it's not going to help everybody who's listening to this today. Anything else that you can add to what you've got for us, or did you throw it all out at us?
We could probably talk all day on some stuff, but I'll tell you what, we at the end of the day. Here's where my heart is, right? Is that I like to see, like the reason why we're always careful in releasing, any courses or tools or whatever is that I like people to do well, right? I mean, there's nothing better than I just spoke at an event a couple of weeks ago in San Diego, and so many people came out to me and they're just like, man, like what you just spoke on, that's a life changer, that's a game changer, or I heard you quite a while ago or whatever. And you've changed how I do things. You've saved us so much time or so much energy or money or whatever, or team money. Man, like there's nothing better than hearing that, right? I love when people have success, and they're as you know, there's so much abundance online, and the ability that you can have someone's life changed from what you've brought to them or what you've done. I mean, that gets me excited. So there is more things that we're going to do that are just going to continue to help your business, the whole e-com, Amazon, whatever platform you're on. It's just going to continue to help you, and that's what gets me excited. And I just, again, I like it. That's where I get a high, is when people are getting a lot of success and awesome feedback from the stuff that we create. That's awesome. So.
Hey, that's why I do what I do, because this has been the most rewarding thing I think I've ever done in my life. So, and I know you can sell all day long and there's no interaction, but at the end of the day, what we all want to do is make an impact around us and, make some changes, for the betterment of the world kind of thing. I don't want my whole life to be about money. And I think that's what you're sharing with us. And we appreciate that. Obviously, you spent a lot of time with us today, and we could not possibly thank you as much as we can come up with, I guess.
Awesome.
So give us, before we get out of here, give us your and then we have one more very important thing, but give us your top one tip, your top one thing that you think people need to be successful in the Amazon business.
The top one tip. All right, so here's the top tip. I know it sounds dumb, but I have so many questions. This always it overwhelms people. There's just so many things to choose from and look at. And I know you can get lost in this. I mean, and I can get lost in this sort of thing. But if you have your metrics down and you have a plan, okay, you've written out. I mean, obviously you're learning a lot from a lot of people here, but if you have a plan, okay, Lowell said, they look at minimum 15,000 a month. They certain amount of estimated sales. you know what? Here's the number one tip is to start. Like, take that step and do it. Like, it's not that hard, right? And I know that sounds dumb, but I'm amazed how many people have gone a certain distance and they just don't take that final step, which is the only step. Just do it, and you can do well in this. There's like time and time again when people are like, man, I finally did it. I finally, you pushed me. I took that step, and now, we're making whatever $3,700 a month, and we're thinking of expanding now. And I'm like, awesome, like that's it. Like, I know it might sound cheesy, but it's not. Start.
I bet you I repeat that 50 times a week, because there's no way to learn better than to do it.
Exactly.
All right. So the most important besides that is, how do we get Asinspector? How much does it cost? That kind of stuff.
Awesome. Well, we have a special link that Rob's going to post, whatever, that you can get through him. And it's what's cool is it's instant. It's an instant download. It's a really good price. We have it's $67. It's a once in a lifetime price, right? So and you guys know that there's other stuff coming down the tube. Well, the people that have already have, that they got that through Rob or whatever, they are going to have something really special, because I like to, just like Rob does with your people, I like to take care of people, right? So that means when we have other cool stuff and we got other upgrades or whatever that we're doing, we like to share those things, okay? And it's not the same thing that everybody else gets. So like, honestly, $67. I mean, I have intel that's like thousands of dollars a month sort of thing on certain things that we have, but this is huge intel. It's all you need to get started, and it's simple. I mean, we lay it out simple, and that's all you need. So you can think of all the things that you've purchased for $67. We're not going anywhere. We have an awesome customer service team. They're in the U.S. They're out of California there, and just it's yeah.
How quick, if someone has a problem, how quick is your support team usually in getting back to people?
Fast, super fast. So it's basically, if you put in a support ticket and you do it right within the tool, or send in a ticket through one of the platforms that we have it on, it's sometimes within minutes, but you'll for sure get a response in hours for sure. And our support team's awesome. They'll actually hop on a call with you. Like, some people have had the odd, again, some sort of, antivirus thing or something like that that's on their computer, and they're having a tough time, even with other stuff that they're doing, not just, our particular extension. But you know what? They hop on, they help you out. It's cool. I'm proud of our team. I mean, they're awesome people, and, they're English speaking and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, it's pretty quick. Plus, there's a support group in Facebook. So if you post a question or whatever, people are there to help, right? I mean, we try to keep that a really positive environment, and there's lots of cool tips in there from other people, and a lot more coming, right? So yeah, support's fast, and it's all included with the tool. So,
well, hey, show your face with me, and we'll say goodbye.
Oh, sorry, man. I thought I saw.
Okay. Well, we were looking at the most important thing. I don't think either of our faces help anybody out.
There we go. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Hey, man, thank you so much. I'm sure people will appreciate that much, and I think you'll be able to make some impact in some people's lives with what you shared today. So,
awesome.
Hey, have a great day. We appreciate your time. And you got anything else to add?
Nothing. Just be all you can, man. Have an awesome day and start. Don't forget.
Just start. I agree. I say that all the time. Yeah, there's no better day than to start today, because you're not going to get any more information to get started, because you already have all the information you need to get started today. So, hey, thanks, guys. Have a good trip. We appreciate you coming by to the Amazon Gorillas. Hey, check out the website at amazongorillas.com. You can friend me at Rob Fortney Jr. on Facebook. I'm pretty active. You can get a hold of me almost anytime, and certainly within 24 hours, and usually the same day I'll get back with you. All right. Have a great day.
Awesome.